The first body was found in Norwalk, Connecticut on March 6th. The eighth body was found this past Tuesday in Springfield, Massachusetts, 93 miles away. The cluster of corpses discovered throughout New England has triggered fears of a serial killer on the loose. The bodies that have been identified were all women, though their cause of death has not been released, and police are not linking these deaths in any way, at least not yet. But digital detectives are hot on the case. Just do a social media search for New England serial killer, and you'll get something like this. From cyber sleuths to social media musings, speculation has fueled an online explosion. The official New England serial killer Facebook group already has more than 60,000 followers. And as long as female bodies keep turning up, so will the online fervor. In the most recent case from Springfield, an unresponsive woman was found near the city's riverfront. She was pronounced dead on the scene, and police have not released her name or her age. And in Groton, Connecticut, police have also not identified human remains found there near a cemetery on March 20th. Now, it's human nature to look for connections and otherwise random data. And bear in mind that just because the bodies were all discovered within 6 weeks doesn't mean the victims were all killed in 6 weeks. In fact, there's evidence they weren't. So, is there one killer responsible or as many as 8? And which scenario is actually more terrifying? To the victims, the question may be academic, but perhaps they can still provide some forensic evidence that will help lead to the answer and save another woman's life. For more on all of this, let's go to our guest. Joseph Scott Morgan is a forensics professor at Jacksonville State University in Alabama and host of the podcast Body Bags. And Peter Valentin is chair of Forensic Science Department at the University of New Haven. Thanks so much for joining us, both of you. Peter, we don't yet know anything yet about the causes of death here for any of these 8 victims. But 8 bodies in 2 months, that does seem like a lot.
Yes, and thank you for having me, Elizabeth. Certainly the time frame is extraordinary given the circumstances. And the question that it brings up for me is sort of what precipitated the searches to begin with. And, you know, there's a range of possibilities here. Were the police tipped off? Were there a number of tips? Were those tips from the public? Were those tips from agency to agency? You know, and given the population density in the Northeast, you know, it stands to reason that, you know, interagency communication can be at play here, that a situation in one jurisdiction begins communication between jurisdictions that all of a sudden gives us a situation where we have more bodies being discovered than we ever would have had it not been for that level of communication. Because normally agencies are not engaged in random searches of wooded areas, such as we're finding.
Joseph, some of the bodies we know are actually quite decomposed. How critical and how difficult is it to determine a cause of death? It's difficult, especially with bodies where the decomposition is pretty far along, right?
Yeah, and it's needed when you start throwing around the term serial killer. One of the things that we look for are patterns, of course, and so most of the time, if you have a singular individual that's engaged in this behavior, there's a commonality relative to what methodology they employ. And right now, we have bodies that are so advanced in decomposition that the MEs have not released causes of death specific to these subjects. So that's going to be very important. And sometimes, you know, I've worked so many of these cases over the years and covered them on air that many times they'll classify it as a homicide, and then they'll say homicidal violence, and that's the best that they can come up with. But we do have bodies that are intact, and still to this point, we don't have a cause of death yet on those either.
Yeah, Peter, Connecticut police say there is no known connection at this time, and therefore no threat to public safety. It sounds like they don't believe that there's a serial killer here at work, even though there's a lot of people online who do.
Well, I think it would be prudent to say that we don't know whether or not you have a single perpetrator responsible for one or more of these deaths.
We don't know either way.
Right. And, in most cases, there's a relationship between your victim and your offender, and what you're doing with your evidence is you're exploring the connection between those. And in a case like this, when you have a body left in an open field, You don't understand what that connection is between your victim and your offender, and now you're searching for physical evidence to establish that connection. And in this situation, with multiple bodies in multiple jurisdictions, we don't know if there even is a connection.
Yeah, I'm remembering the Long Island serial killer where we had, women's bodies who were found in various states of decomposition, many of them over a pretty extensive, parcel of land. But there were definite similarities in how those women were killed, right, Peter?
Yes, and it took time to recognize that they were actually the work of the same perpetrator, and it took forensic evidence to do that conclusively.
All right. So, Joseph, the New England serial killer Facebook group already has nearly 64,000 followers. This has clearly touched a nerve among the public. Does this sort of public activation help or hurt an investigation?
Sounds like I'm waffling. It can help significantly, particularly if you've got individuals that are being discovered. But I urge caution here. Let's think back to the Lady Bird Lake deaths in Austin, Texas. We had bodies that were popping up in the river there in Austin. People were saying that there was a serial killer there, and the police said there's no connectivity between these individuals. So we have to be very careful. I find it interesting as well that with LISC that we had in Long Island, now this is actually have an acronym for it now in New England called NEST, I think. So I'm seeing this kind of matching that's coming along. I urge everybody to take a beat, be very cautious about what they say, what they do, because maybe there is somebody out there perpetrating something, but we don't know anything. And look, we don't know what the police know, and we shouldn't know what they know because they're working these cases. We'll know all in good time.
Well, with the public furor being what it is, it might be great for the police to, when they do know something, give us that information.
Yeah.
As in, these women died in dramatically different ways at, dramatically different times. There appears to be no connection. But got to tell you, both, you know this as well as I do, these bodies keep turning up. It's just going to fuel the public sort of hysteria on this. Joseph Scott Morgan, Peter Valentin, thank you both so much. Great to have you on the show.
No, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.